The SEO business case for website accessibility and ADA compliance is commonly oversold. And while, yes, some accessibility considerations are standard practice for SEO, it's not as if you conform with the Web Content Accessibility Guidelines and you're automatically going to start jumping in the rankings. And if that's the case, then you're not paying attention to SEO anyways. So let's talk about the different, not necessarily success criteria, but the different considerations that are rolled up into success criteria that affect SEO. So first I have here is anchor text, and this refers to the success criterion for link purpose. And here's where the one situation where I can see there being a true disagreement. So an SEO person, they might be looking to diversify the anchor text for different keywords on the website. And the accessibility person might be saying, okay, well, all the anchor text links that go to the same page, they need to have the same anchor text. We need to have them be the same because we don't want to create confusion. And so that's the one area where I can see a true tension. But otherwise, there really shouldn't be. With alt text, just know that the search engine optimization benefit of alt text is just like that of adding more keywords on your page. So if you really want a word on your page, you don't need to stuff it inside of an alt attribute. You can just put it on your page and it will have the same effect. Now, if we're talking about ranking in Google Images, then yes, but you really shouldn't be misaligned in your alt text and with your image. So if there's a meaningful image, that description should match what the image is. You shouldn't be mislabeling it to rank an image that really shouldn't be ranking for a given keyword. But that's really the only effect here. So people think for some reason that they need to hide text inside alt text attributes. And now some people still think that there are SEO benefits to alt text. Again, just add the words on your page. You're not making a difference from keeping them inside the alt attribute versus anywhere else on the page. And by the way, that is information from Matt Diggity. Matt Diggity is well known in the SEO world, and he obviously has data on all of this. So that's the effect here with alt text descriptions. If you're trying to rank in Google Images, yes, there's a point to that. But if you want to rank in those images, then have an image that matches the alt text description. Moving on, headings definitely impact SEO, but for most websites, headings are already in place. There could be some very mild benefit if you have inappropriately structured headings. Then if you start to nest your headings properly and have a good hierarchical structure, then yes, there could be some benefit there, but most websites are already doing this anyway. And so that's one way where we could get some mild impact, but there can be some benefit with headings. Having a responsive website. So with responsiveness, I'm referring to making sure that your page reflows and that you can read the size of the text. This matters because of what is called mobile first indexing. Google prioritizes the mobile version over desktop for informal rankings. And then one of the best practices Google has is making sure you have a responsive website. So with these two and their connected success criteria, that is going to affect the responsiveness of your website. But then we get back to what I was saying originally is you really should already have a responsive website anyway. So again, the benefit here is being oversold. Number 5 I have on the whiteboard is page titles. Overwhelmingly, websites have page titles. Maybe you can make yours a little more descriptive. Maybe you include keywords to help with that description, but you also don't want to make your page titles too long. You don't want them just for the purposes of having more keywords. And then, of course, your page titles are truncated anyway. So really here, most pages already have them. Yes, maybe you can look over your titles. Maybe you see some way to optimize, some way to be more descriptive, but you're also not trying to have the page title describe anything other than what the page contents are. So again, this is in place for most websites. So the accessibility consideration here is really being oversold when it comes to SEO. And then the same thing applies to number 6, which I have is semantics. With semantics, really what you're doing is you're structuring your content and you're adding meaning to your content. So let's take the example of lists. We have ordered lists and we have numbered lists. We want to make sure that we don't just have the numbers, we don't just have bullet points, but we're actually using HTML markup for these lists. Similarly with landmarks / I have sections, we can identify the different sections of our website using markup. And then going back to headings, again, we can structure our headings. So instead of, let's say we have large text and I put subject here and it's in, let's say 40 size font and it's bold and it looks like a heading, but it's actually programmatically, it's the same as regular text. So we want to make sure this is a heading. And let's say we're going to make this an H1. So I'm adding here code, or not H2, H1 anyways. We want to add code to make sure that we have the semantic meaning in place and that we are structuring the content. That's all this is getting at, is making sure that we are semantically marking up content. And of course, that's going to help. That is best practice. It is standard for SEO. So yes, there can be a mild benefit for SEO, but it's not the impact that is being described by so many people who are marketing and attempting to sell ADA compliance and website accessibility. It's more just like you're making sure that your website is better optimized for consideration for higher rankings, but it's not like you are taking care of SEO and accessibility all in one, even if you are fully WCAG conformant. There really shouldn't be a lot of tension between SEO and accessibility. The one place where I can see there being a disagreement is with anchor text. And so here you just want to have a discussion about the anchor text ratios and making sure that even if we diversify the anchor text, then the link purpose is still known. So this might be a situation where you resolve this with an alignment in the anchor text where it starts off with the same words, but then we add an additional word for links where we want to have a diversification of those links. So that could be an easy compromise where accessibility really isn't sacrificed. All we're doing is adding an extra keyword so that we can have the best of both worlds. But this is what is at play when it comes to SEO and accessibility. If you have any questions, feel free to contact me. And if you would like to learn more about the Web Content Accessibility Guidelines, you can visit wcagcourse.com, and there you will have my course on all of the different accessibility considerations contained in the Web Content Accessibility Guidelines.